So the question is this very important? Should we actually be going through this textbook, which is pretty old and in a language that we don't understand? Is it really important to go through this? Is the first question. Well, the answer is here. Let's see what's the answer. And the answer is, Krishna is saying, here we have, this is text number 1, text number 2, text number 3. Here is the answer. Sa evayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosi me saka cheti rahasyam hi etad uttamam. Okay, let's mark this, very important. That very ancient science of relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Okay, so this is actually the topmost secret transcendental mystery, the relationship between us and God. So who is God? Who am I? What's my relationship with God? All of that is important for us to understand. Okay, and then so somebody can ask, but this is not for me. You see, because I'm not a person who is renounced in a ashrama or anything like that. Okay, I'm a normal person who's taking care of my family. Okay, so who is Bhagavad Gita for, and who was it meant for? That Krishna is explaining here. He is saying here that this imperishable science of yoga, Bhagavad Gita, has been given to sun god Vivaswan, who in turn instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu instructed to Ikshvaku. He goes on to the next one. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. The supreme source was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it that way. So, well, this Bhagavad Gita is for the kings, how to be taking care of their duty. It's not for the renounced people. So if it is for the kings, it is for us also, right? So it is for us also. It's not just for the renounced. Okay. So now, what is it that we are going to get by following this Bhagavad Gita? Okay, let us say, okay, I'll try to understand this. I understand there is some secret that's being explained here, and it's very important, and that's the reason why Krishna has given it to the kings before. But by following which, what is it that I'm going to get? Or how am I going to be getting benefited is the question. So the question, answer for that question is also explained here in this verse. Let's see that. Yes. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshami yajñatva mokshase ashubhat. Even the intelligent and the bewildered are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So let us note this. So what is it that we are going to get? What is the benefit that we are going to get is explained here. The benefit that we are going to get is by knowing this knowledge, this rahasyam hi etad uttamam, the transcendental secret of how to do or how to perform our duty, we can become liberated from all our misfortune. Yajñatva mokshase ashubhat. Ashubhat means misfortune. All kinds of misfortune shall be driven away completely. We will be liberated by simply understanding how to perform action. And Krishna has explained this knowledge to so many kings before. He has explained to the sun god. Sun god explained to Manu. Manu was a king. He was the father of the mankind. And Manu explained it to Ikshvaku king, who was a king again. So all these kings are all liberated. Okay, they have followed the process as it is. They follow the process that Krishna gave, and they have acted in that consciousness. They have done their duties, but in the consciousness that Krishna explained you must be doing in this consciousness. So let us all try to understand this consciousness. Okay, so now we'll try to understand that. Okay, for the next 1 hour, I would request all of you to be attentive here so that you can also be benefited by these instructions which were given to the disciplic succession of Krishna. And just like all those people who have followed the footsteps of the previous authorities of the disciplic succession, they all got liberated. We shall also get liberated by simply understanding this trick. So with that, we will start today's verse, that is verse number 17. So I don't have an order today, but I'm going to call out randomly if that's okay. Or you please raise your hands. Those of you who are interested in reading, I'll just call you out. Okay, please raise your hands electronically. Electronically raise your hands, and then I'll start calling one by one. Okay. So please volunteer and raise your hands. Those of you who want to read the verses, and I'll give you a chance. Okay. Let us start with this. Premai Kunti Mataji, please read the verse number 17, text number 17.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Karmano he api bodhavyam cha vikarmana karmanascha bodhavyam gehena karman katiha. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much. I need another volunteer who can repeat this again. So we'll give chance to Sumedh Prabhu. Sumedh Prabhu, please recite the verse and translate.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Karmanno yapi bodhavyam cha vikarmanah akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. Translation: the intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So let's try to understand. So this is an analysis of action. Okay, so let's take some notes. Okay. So 3 categories here. Who remembers that? Action, forbidden action,
and inaction.
Prabhuji, you are not sharing your screen, I think.
Sorry. Now,
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see now. We can see, Prabhuji.
yes. Forbidden action and inaction, also called as the akarma. So what is action? What is forbidden action? What is inaction? Let us try to understand. Okay. Now let us take an example of a king. Okay. Let us say if there is a king, if he is performing some kind of a, let us say some kind of a fire sacrifice. Okay. So, okay, fire sacrifice. Okay. Let me just put it here. Okay. If he is performing some kind of a fire sacrifice, okay, you have to tell me how do you classify it? Is it action, or is it forbidden action, or is it inaction?
Action.
Right. So it's action. So he's doing acts according to the Vedic literature. So as per the Vedic literature, whatever is given, he is doing it. Correct? So he is doing his prescribed duties. So what will be the result of that? Maybe he'll get some positive karma. Okay, now let us say that the king is extracting a lot of taxes excessively and not giving protection to the public. Okay, For example, excessive taxes. So now what is this?
Forbidden.
Forbidden action. Forbidden action.
Yeah. So that is forbidden action. And for that, he is getting papa. That is, he's actually accumulating negative. We know about this. Now comes inaction. So we'll try to understand what is inaction. So what is inaction? Inaction is performing action, prescribed duties in Krishna consciousness, in transcendental consciousness. So if the same fire sacrifice, okay, if he was performing it in Krishna consciousness, if he was performing this prescribed duty in Krishna consciousness, then it's not action, it's not forbidden action, it is inaction. Okay, so let's go through this. Yes, it's written here. Okay, so if I want somebody to read this entire translation, please. Who can read it? Yes.
May
May I?
Yeah.
Hare-
Go ahead. Yes.
Prabhuji, should
Yeah.
I
Go
go
ahead.
ahead?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead,
That is-
please. Yes.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Sure, Prabhuji. If one is serious about liberation from material bondages, one has to understand the distinction between action, inaction, and unauthorized actions. One has to apply oneself to such an analysis of action, reaction, and perverted action because it is very difficult subject matter. To understand Krishna consciousness and action according to its modes, one has to learn one's relationship with the Supreme. That is, one who has learned perfectly knows that every living entity is an internal servitor of the Lord, and that consequently one has to act in Krishna consciousness. The entire Bhagavad Gita is directed towards this conclusion. Any other conclusions against this consciousness and its attendants action are uh, are vikarmas or prohibited actions. To understand all this, one has to associate with authorities in Krishna consciousness and learn the secret from them. This is as good as learning from the Lord directly. Otherwise, even the most intelligent person will be bewildered. Hare Krishna Guruji.
Hare Krishna. Right. Thank you, Prabhu. Kindly mute yourself. So now, you see, most of the time we are confused between karma and vikarma. Am I right? So we call it technically, this is called as karma, and this is called as vikarma. Vikarma means forbidden action. Most of the time we're always thinking, okay, what is good, what is bad? Okay, this is a good action, this is a bad action. This is a good action, this is a bad action. Right? Similarly, Arjuna is also right now confused. Correct? Arjuna is very intelligent, but Arjuna is confused. So what is the confusion? Okay, let us see. What's the confusion? So the confusion here is, let's see. Okay, let's say Arjuna's options. Arjuna has got two options now. Fight the war. Okay, option number one. Okay, option number one. Option number two. Okay, leave the war. So it means accept defeat and just move out of the war. So it's as good as, like, surrendering. It's as good as surrendering and saying give up, frustration. Okay, so there's a third option also. We'll come to that. So first let's try to classify what of this. So what do you think? Fighting the war, is it action, forbidden action, or inaction for Arjuna? Yeah.
For Arjuna Prabhuji, it's action.
Action.
For Arjuna, it's action.
Action.
Why is it action? Why is it prescribed duty for him? Why is it recommended for him?
Because he's a Kshatriya.
Because he is a Kshatriya. Okay. So, okay,
Also,
what about the option? Yeah, yeah.
void.
Forbidden action.
Yeah. What about leaving the war? Okay. What if he just leaves the war? I mean, showing
Vikarma.
vikarma.
Forbidden action.
Vikarma.
Forbidden action. Forbidden
Vikarma.
action.
An action.
So, Arjuna's question is this: should I fight or not fight? So, Krishna, he did not say fight the war, nor did he say leave the war. He gave the third option, that is inaction. He said, fight the war in Krishna consciousness. That is action or forbidden action or inaction.
Inaction.
That is inaction. That is
Inaction.
akar.
Yeah.
Action.
Exactly. So, what Prabhupada is saying here is, it does not matter whether you are performing very good activities, where you are a very charitable, very nice person, doing so much of social service, but if it is not in Krishna consciousness, let us say no Krishna consciousness, let us say it's without Krishna consciousness, I mean, it's without the understanding, or it's not for the pleasure of God, it's for yourself, then it's as good as a forbidden action. So, what Prabhupada is saying is, only this is the most important thing that we are supposed to be doing. This is the actual karma, and both of the action and forbidden action without Krishna consciousness is just vikarma. It's both of them are not useful. Both of them are not useful because you see, if you do good action, what happens? You will get some nice punya, and then you will have to go to heaven. Correct? If you do forbidden action, you will get papa, that is sinful reaction, and will have to go to hell. But in either case, heaven or hell, both of them are material world, isn't it? This is like, golden chain. Okay, sometimes just imagine if somebody chains you with gold. So, golden handcuffs. This is iron handcuffs. So, is it okay if somebody puts golden handcuffs for us? Will we agree to it? We'll say, okay, it's gold, so it's okay. Is that okay? Not okay.
No,
No, it's okay.
No.
It's not okay. It's just golden. So, but it's not okay. So that's the point. Okay. So we don't want handcuffs at all. We want to go back to Godhead. So if you work in Krishna consciousness, you'll go back to Godhead. That is liberation. That is liberation. Liberation. Liberation means, bondage means handcuffs. Liberation means removing the handcuffs. Got this? This is the point. Okay, let's proceed. Let's proceed to the next one. Now, Sindhu Mataji, verse 18, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Karmanye akarmaye akarmaya pashed akarmani cha karmaya sabuddhiman manusheshu sayukta krishna karma krit. One who sees inaction in action and action in action is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right? So, inaction in action, action in inaction. Right? So, what does that mean? Let's try to understand. What is the meaning of seeing inaction in action and action in action? So, the point here is a person, okay, I would require one devotee to please read this. Any volunteers?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please go ahead. Read the purport.
A person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society, even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. Akarma means without reaction to work. The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear so that the resultant action may not be stumbling block on the path of self-realization. But the personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of the service. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, if you perform your activities for Krishna, if you act in Krishna consciousness, Krishna is saying such a person is very intelligent, although he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna, all sorts of. So, it's not about acting or not acting. That's not the point, that's not the way to judge. Are you acting for Krishna or are you acting for your own sense gratification? That is the way to measure anything. And akarma basically means no reaction to work. So we have seen just now that if you work in Krishna consciousness, it's akarma, or you don't have to you don't get any kind of reaction. It's a liberating action. Okay. But now here is where the impersonalist and the personalist differ. The impersonalist, they completely abandon the action because they feel that if I act, I'm going to get some karma and I'll be not liberated. So what they're trying to do is, you see, let's go back to the picture. So what the impersonalist is thinking that, okay, impersonalist has an idea that if I do action, then it is going to be golden handcuffs. If I'm going to do forbidden action, it's going to be iron handcuffs. So let me do one thing. Let me not work at all. So I'll sit silently. But that's wrong understanding. That's not inaction. Inaction means doing your activity in Krishna consciousness. Because if Krishna wanted to say to Arjuna that, don't get into all of this, forget about the war, forget about all of this. If you are going to fight the war, you're going to get karma, your self-realization will be stopped, you'll not get liberated. Do one thing, just go home and sit. No, he didn't say. He said, fight in Krishna consciousness. He said, you want to fight the war, that is the prescribed duty. You do your prescribed duty in Krishna consciousness, then you will come back to me. That means in my consciousness. So we have to engage our senses in Krishna consciousness. So for example, you see, what we can do is, let's say if we have our mouth, how can we engage? So for example, so this is no engagement. And this is positive engagement. And of course, there is negative engagement also, which I'm not going to talk about right now, okay, which you can infer. So let us say if you have mouth. So if I just sit like without speaking, okay, let us say I'm silent. If I'm silent, I'm not speaking anything at all, that is no engagement. The impersonalists think, if I'm going to speak, I may speak something bad, so let me just keep my mouth shut. I'll do Mauna Vrata. But Krishna conscious person, what is he doing? He's chanting the names of God. Chanting names or glorifying Krishna. So what is important? Tell me, is it important to do a positive engagement or it is enough to do no engagement? What is correct?
Positive engagement.
Positive engagement. So for example, Prabhupada used to give this example, right? Prabhupada in his Purvashrama, he was a Grihastha. In Purvashrama, Prabhupada was a Grihastha. That means before he took sannyasa, he was having a family. And he used to have his kid. It was his son. His son was so mischievous. all the time he is to be jumping and doing something. You cannot make him sit silent, right? So if you ask him, if you forcibly make him sit, because he is going to break something or he'll do something, so he'll sit silently for some time. But that is, it's like a forcibly you're trying to stop the kid. So that is like no engagement. Instead, if we can positively engage the kid, right? So if, for example, we, instead of doing mischief, if the kid is reading some book, that is called positive engagement. So Krishna is telling, do positive engagement. He's not saying, Arjuna, stop doing activity, stop fighting war. He said, you can fight the war, but in Krishna consciousness. Do it for my pleasure. Because I am saying it, you must do it. I hope you got this. This is a very important, because very intelligent people also fail to understand this. That's what Krishna is saying. Even the most intelligent people fail to understand this thing. That's the reason why Arjuna got confused. Nah? Arjuna is so intelligent. So just like all the intelligent people get confused about determining what is positive engagement versus no engagement, they get confused. They think that akarma means not acting at all. So if I have to get liberated, I understood. The thing what I'm supposed to be doing is, I'm not supposed to go anywhere. I just sit silently like, some kind of a python. There is some snakes, okay? Anaconda, I think. It will not move anywhere. It will just stay there. That's it. So something like that, I'll just stay there. So this is not the process of getting liberation. The process of getting liberation is to always think about Krishna. So like that. So for example, we can engage all our senses in Krishna consciousness. So for example, let us say, another option is, for example, we can use our hands. Okay. So negative engagement of hands is to, for example, harass somebody, be violent towards somebody, example, etc. So no engagement is like do nothing. Okay, do nothing. What is positive engagement of using the hands?
Serving Krishna.
Serving Krishna. If you do deity worship of Krishna, so for example, if you're showing agarbatti, you're showing flowers, you're showing all of that to Krishna, that is positive engagement. So that is what is Krishna recommending. Krishna is recommending that even though you see you are engaged in all sorts of activity for Krishna, then that is considered to be without reaction. Without reaction. So engage in the activities of Krishna consciousness. And because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys transcendental happiness in the discharge of his service. And such people are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. So this, the sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna, makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary activities. So this is the process that Krishna is recommending, that try to understand what is your relationship with God. Try to revive that relationship with God and stay there, act in that consciousness, act in Krishna consciousness. So when you act in Krishna consciousness, you are neither getting any positive action or reaction or a negative reaction. All you are getting is immunity to all sorts of reaction and back to God. Is that clear? Let's go to the next verse. Okay. Yes.
Prabhuji,
Yes,
may I ask
Prabhu.
one
Please,
question?
please ask.
Prabhuji, you were mentioning earlier that if we do something good, then it's a sakarma, right?
It's a karma. It's just karma. If you
Akar,
don't, it's
yeah,
called
karma.
karma. Karma.
Yeah. And then it's as a result, you will get the gold handcuffs.
Yeah, that's right.
Correct, Prabhuji.
That's
And
right.
if you do like bad karma, then vikarma, then you get like iron handcuffs.
That's right.
But if you choose not to do anything, Prabhuji, then in what category it will fit in?
Very good question. I love that question. What if I don't do anything? Here, Arjuna is saying the same thing. He's saying, I'll not do anything. Simple. I'll ask you one question, okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Let us say that there is some terrorist or there is some dacoit who has come. And we go to the police station and say, sir, please, I need urgent help. There's somebody behind me. Help me. But the police officer says, it's just like, go from here. So he's not doing anything. So is it a positive action or a negative action? By not doing
Negative
it.
action.
Negative, Prabhuji.
So by not doing what we are supposed to be doing is actually a negative thing. So without knowledge, without complete knowledge of Krishna consciousness, if somebody renounces, that is considered to be negative. That's what Krishna said to Arjuna, that if you now leave the war, you know what's going to happen? He says, not only everybody will criticize you, Duryodhana is going to criticize you, not only that, you will accrue sinful reactions. Because as a Kshatriya, you have failed your religious duty. By not performing one's duty, by just sitting silent, that is also vikarma. That is also wrong. Okay? Clear, Prabhu?
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll tell you one more story. Okay, there's one story where there was a person who wanted to always say the truth. He has vowed that I will always tell the truth. Okay, and what happened was there was a merchant who came running. Okay, and there were some dacoits who were following that merchant, and he was running for his life because these dacoits wanted to kill him and take his money. And this merchant came and he hid inside the ashram. Okay, just imagine yourself in that position. Okay, you are the saint sitting in that ashram. The dacoits have come and asked, "Can you tell us where that person has gone? Can you tell us where that person has gone?" Now, what should the saintly person do? Tell the truth or not tell the truth? Right?
Prabhuji, I mean, I'm not sure whether, but they should not tell the truth, because by
Yes.
not telling the truth, they are saving someone's life.
Exactly. Exactly. So if he's like, if he blindly says, "Okay, I'm going to tell the truth, he's here," that's called false. That's wrong. That's vikarma. That's forbidden action. Actually, forbidden action. That time he should be saying, "I don't know what happened, where he is," something like that, because he's saving a person, right? So similarly, so it's very contextual. We have to understand where, at what time, if somebody is failing to act, if somebody fails to do their duty, it is vikarma. Simple words. You agree, right?
Yes.
See, the
Thank you.
government, let's say there's COVID. Let's say the government is just sitting silently. No, you will not do any vaccines, nothing, just sit silently. Is that okay? Not okay, right? Like that. Okay, so
Thank you.
sitting silent is not correct. Correct, Krishna. Right. Let's go to the next one. Oops. Okay, next verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, 1 minute, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
All this I have understood very well.
Yes, please.
But what doesn't enter my head or what gives me confusion is these words, Prabhuji.
Which
One
words?
who sees inaction in action and action in inaction.
Okay.
That you
Action.
please clarify.
Sure. Action in inaction. Inaction in action means, in simple words, action in inaction. Inaction in action. So that means even though you are acting, if you act in Krishna consciousness, it is considered to be inaction. Is that clear? That is
No,
inaction in
okay.
action.
Yeah,
Inaction in
this I
action means
understood. This I understood.
even though you are not doing anything, just sitting silently without Krishna consciousness, that is action, because you are getting negative karma. Because just like I said, somebody is not doing something, somebody is inactive, not doing their duty, but he is getting a karma. So Arjuna is saying, I will not fight the war. That is inaction. But actually by doing that, he is getting karma. Therefore, it's action. Is that clear? How many of you got that?
Difficult, Prabhuji. I think I need to.
Okay. Let me
I'll
just
take time.
Okay, let me explain quickly. So here, no engagement. No engagement, in simple words, no engagement is actually going to cause karma. Positive engagement is no karma.
Take us to your slide, Prabhuji.
Okay, sorry. Here I'm saying, if somebody is not stopping his prescribed duties versus somebody doing positive engagement in Krishna consciousness, the results are the opposite of what they are assuming to be. The person who is actually not engaging in anything, he's thinking that I'll not get any karma, but actually he's getting karma because of not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Whereas the person who is actively engaging in Krishna consciousness, he is not getting any karma. Therefore, this positive engagement is inaction in action. This no engagement is action in inaction. Is that clear?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I understood.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Let's go to the next one. Verse number 19. Yes, Geeta Mataji. Hare Krishna. Geeta Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. यस्य सर्वे समारम्भः कामसङ्कल्पवर्जितः ज्ञानाग्नि दग्ध कर्माणं तम आहु panditam buddha. Translation: one is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every act is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker whose fruitive action is burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, who is said to be in the full knowledge? Okay, let us understand this. Okay, here is an important verse. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagda karmanam tamahu panditam buddhaha. A very important verse, which in simple words says that the knowledge is like a fire. Jnana agni. Jnana is knowledge, agni is fire, which can burn up all the karma, which can burn all our past sinful reactions. So now the question is, what is that knowledge? What knowledge is Krishna talking about? That we have to understand. So that we will understand here. Okay, one is understood to be in full knowledge, whose endeavor is okay. He is said to be sages, and then the reactions of the work would have burned up by the fire of the perfect knowledge. This is very important. Let's underline this. So now the question is, what is perfect knowledge that Krishna trying to say? What is the perfect knowledge that Krishna trying to say? So that is explained here. The perfect knowledge is to understand that I am the eternal servitor of the Lord. Okay, let's take the purport first. Okay, who can read the purport?
Prabhuji, may I?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness, because the person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratificatory propensities. It is to be understood that he has burnt up the reactions of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually learned who has attained to such perfection of knowledge. Development of this knowledge of eternal servitorship to the Lord is compared to fire. Such a fire, once kindled, can burn up all kinds of reactions to work. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So what I was saying, Jnanagni Dagda Karmanam. That means the perfect knowledge can burn all our past reactions. Now let us try to understand this. What is perfect knowledge? Here, what is perfect knowledge? So the perfect knowledge is that to understand that his constitutional position, the perfect knowledge is to understand the constitutional position as the servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The perfect knowledge is to understand who we are and to act in that relationship. If you're always able to understand that I am this, I am always the servant of Krishna. If you act in that consciousness, that is called working in perfect knowledge. And when this is like a fire, okay, that knowledge of the eternal servitorship of the Lord is like a fire. Knowledge of eternal servitorship of the Lord is like a fire. And once such a fire is kindled, it can burn up all reactions to work. So this is the secret. This is the rahasyam etat uttamam. Krishna is saying, I'm going to teach you a very important secret. By knowing this secret, you will become liberated from all the miserable conditions of life. Yajñatva mokshase ashubhat. From Ashubha, you will be completely liberated, and that rahasyam is this: to work in knowledge as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is this knowledge, I'll explain. So to understand in simple words, so here is, if Krishna is like the moon, okay, here is moon, okay, if Krishna is like the moon, so we are like these stars, okay. So there is only one moon, but there are many stars. So this is the Vedic statement which says eko bahunam vidadati kaman. There is one singular, there is one moon, and there are many stars. So this is us. So this is us. We have to understand our relationship with God, that I am servant of God. I am servant of Krishna. This is called Krishna consciousness. Actually, it is said once what happened. Let's go to one pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, one day what happened was, there was Sanatana Goswami who went to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and had asked one question. He said, actually a lot of people say that I am very intelligent, but I think I am a fool because I don't know who I am. Can you please tell me who I am? He asked. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you are the eternal servant of Krishna. So Jivera Swarupahaya Nityera Krishna Dasa. Every living entity, starting from Adishesha. Adishesha is like Balaram. So starting from Balaram is servant of Krishna. So it is said, Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasara Ara Tava Britya. That means there is Ekala Ishvara Krishna. There is only one leader, one supremo, that is Krishna. And everybody is his servant. Everybody. Including his foremost expansion, Lord Balaram, who is Adishesha, he is also serving Krishna. How he is serving? Adishesha is serving by becoming the, the bed. So Lord Vishnu is sleeping on the bed. So when Lord Vishnu wants to sleep, Adishesha becomes the bed. So like that, actually he is always serving. Adishesha is serving him different ways. Lord Balaram is always serving Krishna. I'll tell you, let's go to Krishna's pastime. I'll tell you how Balaram serves Krishna. Right? So he was like the elder brother of Krishna. So elder brother of Krishna. So he'll be thinking, he'll be acting like a parent also sometimes, taking care of his younger brother. So how is Krishna, whether he has eaten properly or not, like that he's taking care. So he also expands as the Vrindavan Dham. So whatever devotional service that you want to do, he will expand. So if you want to play Mridangam for Krishna, Balram expands into Mridangam. So like that he is continuously always serving. So just like, Adishesha is Lakshmana also. Lakshmana is always serving Lord Ramachandra. So he himself is the servant. He is like the topmost, his foremost, first expansion of Krishna is Balaram. He is also servant of Krishna. Then what to talk about us? We are so far, you see, from Krishna came Balaram, from Balaram came the first Chaturvyuha, from the first Chaturvyuha came the second Chaturvyuha, from the second Chaturvyuha came Mahavishnu, from Mahavishnu came Garbhodakashai Vishnu, Garbhodakashai Vishnu came Kshirodakashai Vishnu, from Kshirodakashai Vishnu came the material world, and all the living entities have come. So we are like far away. So everybody is a servant of Krishna. This is the consciousness that we have to have. This is the clarity that we have to have, that I am servant of Krishna. So in that consciousness, just like how Hanuman is acting, he's always thinking, he's saying, if you ask Hanuman, who are you? He says, Dasosmi, Raghavendra. He says, I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Lord Ramachandra. So that is his introduction. So like that, we should always think that we are servant of Krishna. If you act in that consciousness, there is no reaction at all. There is no reaction at all. That is called perfect knowledge. By simply acting in that consciousness that I am the servant, I am not the boss, I am Das. So in that consciousness, if you act, all our past reactions will be burnt. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Indra Hardas Mataji, can you please read verse text number 20?
Next 20. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्योऽभिप्रवर्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः. हरे कृष्ण. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings.
Yes, this is very important. He performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. That is inaction in action. Inaction in action. What does that mean? This is action. If you are performing any kind of activity, that is action. That is Arjuna fighting the war. So he fought the Kurukshetra war. So, there were so many events that happened, right? So he killed so many people, right? He even killed Bhishma also, right? Like that, he killed so many people. So he's doing so much of violence also, but he's acting in Krishna consciousness. So that is not considered as a sinful reaction, because he is not performing any fruitive activity, because it's just the consciousness that matters. In what consciousness are you acting? In what consciousness are you acting? You see? So it is like this, okay? Let us say there is a, let's go to this, a simple example. I'll give you some example, okay? So here is a bus agency, okay? Okay. So here is the proprietor.
Will you kindly share these?
Sorry. Yeah. So here is a bus agency. So here is a proprietor, okay? He is a proprietor. So let us say this proprietor has hired some people, okay, and he gave them, each of them, buses, okay, different buses. He's got so many buses. So like this. So he has hired these drivers and given them, each of them he has given a bus. Now when you ask the driver whose bus is this, what should the driver say?
Bus agency, Prabhuji.
Yeah, he should say this belongs to whatever, okay, let's put Mr. Lal, okay, somebody like that. Should he say that this bus is mine, or should he say it belongs to my proprietor, Mr. Lal?
Mr. Lal.
Yeah, it doesn't belong to him, right? So he has been given this activity. So he has been hired for a purpose, for doing something here, okay? But oftentimes it does happen that this person is always driving this bus for a long time, and then is not in touch with the proprietor for a long time. And then when somebody asks him, whose bus is this? What does he say? Mine. Yes?
Yes.
So that's what is happening with us. So the material world belongs to Krishna. Everything is given by Krishna to us. And we have actually forgotten that. And because we have forgotten that fact, who is the original owner, in that false identification I am saying this is mine. So when you say it is mine, so naturally whatever activity that you do goes to us. If you do in the consciousness that I am doing it, then whatever activity that I do I have to suffer or I have to enjoy it. But if I do it for the proprietor, for the sake of the proprietor, supreme proprietor, on behalf of the proprietor's instructions, then there is no activity that is mine. There is nothing that I get. So if I act for Krishna, so what is it that I'm going to get? I'm going to get transcendental happiness. So I should not think that I am entitled to this. Whatever positions that I have, these are mine and I am entitled to this. Instead, you should think it is Krishna's. Krishna has given me this family and I'll take care of the family very nicely. That is the kind of correct attitude. That is called Krishna consciousness. If you act like that, then there is no karma. But if you think, no, it is me who has done it, oftentimes we hear this, I have done it, I did it, I did it, I did it. We say like that, right? When you say that I did it, then yes, the karma is yours. The karma also will follow you. But if you say, no, I did it for Krishna, okay, I did it for the satisfaction of Krishna, then the karma is not yours. As simple as this, that's it. The same thing will be repeated a lot of times, okay? So, although you may be engaging in all kinds of undertakings, that doesn't matter. It's the consciousness, the bus driver should not think that this bus is mine. He should think, okay, this belongs to my boss. I'm just acting on his behalf. I'm acting on behalf of my superior authority. I'm acting on the behalf of my spiritual master, who is in turn acting on behalf of his spiritual master, the Parampara, who is acting on behalf of Lord Krishna. That is how I am acting, right? So that is how we have to be doing. Okay, somebody can read the purport, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read it?
Yeah, please read the purport. Yes.
Perfect. This freedom from the bondage of actions is possible only in Krishna consciousness. When one is doing everything for Krishna, a Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the results of the action. He is not even attached to his personal maintenance, for everything is left to Krishna. Nor is he anxious to secure things, nor to protect things already in his possession. He does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reactions of good and bad. It is as though he were not doing anything. This is the sign of a karma, or actions without fruitive reactions. Any other action, therefore, devoid of Krishna consciousness, is binding upon the worker. And that is the real aspect of vikarma, as explained herein before. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So, again, the same point. An unattached person is always free from the resultant actions of good and bad, as if he were doing nothing. As if he were doing nothing. So, if you do in this consciousness, you may do anything, but it is not counted as being done at all. This is called real akarma. This is called real akarma. This is the sign of akarma. So, this is the actual definition of akarma. And in fact, actually, if without this consciousness, if we act, without this consciousness, whatever activity that we may do, which is not in Krishna consciousness, that is considered to be binding. That is actually vikarma. That is going to, the same thing explained in different ways, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? So I'll tell you one small story, okay? There was one great devotee who went into samadhi, right? Who went into samadhi. And then samadhi means, in a state of complete meditative trance. And his disciple was waiting for him. After some time, he opened his eyes. The disciple asked, where were you? Where did you go, Guru Maharaj? So he said, I went to the spiritual world. Okay, I closed my eyes and I went to Golok Vrindavan. You know what happened there? There, this spiritual master was having the body of one of the assistants of the gopis of Krishna. So what happened there was Radharani's nose ring fell down in a lake. Radharani's nose ring fell inside the lake. So this devotee, everybody was searching for it. So this devotee also went inside and found that nose ring and he gave the nose ring not directly to Radharani. He gave it to his spiritual master. His spiritual master was also one of the assistants of Gopi, okay, in the female form. And then that spiritual master gave it to his spiritual master. his spiritual master gave to his spiritual master, and finally it was given to Radharani in the chain of disciplic succession. So this is called disciplic succession. You see, and he came back. You see, he is in the trance of Krishna consciousness. Okay, so just like explaining, this is called the trance of Krishna consciousness, right? So this is an example. So one should be actually acting in the trance of Krishna consciousness, that I am the servant of Krishna. That is the correct understanding. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is verse number 21. Chaitanya Mataji, can you read?
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams.
निराशीर्यत चित्तात्मा तत् त्यक्त सर्व परिग्रहः शारीरं केवलं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. Translation: Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus, working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the idea is we have to act like, the very nice example has been given. Okay, here let us see this. Let us read this. Okay, who can read this, the part which I highlighted here?
Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, please read.
Like an animal, he has no proprietorship even over his own body. A cruel proprietor of an animal sometimes kills the animal in his possession, yet the animal does not protest, nor does it have any real independence. A Krishna conscious person fully engaged in self-realization has very little time to falsely possess any material object. For maintaining body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money. He does not therefore become contaminated by such material sins. He is free from all reactions to his actions. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So you see the example here given is, sometimes the shop slaughterhouses, they'll have some animals, right? And sometimes they'll be feeding these animals also. Let's say there's a goat which is in a slaughterhouse. That's the master is feeding the food, but sometimes after when the time comes, he may bring that animal out and even kill that animal. The animal does not protest, nor does the animal have any kind of independence, right? So actually we should be in this consciousness with respect to Krishna. That there's a very beautiful verse in Shikshastakam which says, Ashlishyava padaratam pinastumam adarshanat marmahatam karotuva yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato matprananatastu sayeva naparaha. Okay, let me just show you the meaning also. So Shikshastakam, lyrics in English. We'll open and we'll see the meaning of that, what that means. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu singing this. Okay, Ashlishyava padaratam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotuva yada tatha va vidadatu lampato matprananatastu sayeva naparaha. Okay, so I want anybody to read this translation, please. You can. Yes, please go ahead.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Hare Krishna. You see, always we have a conditional kind of relationships. There's a give and take relationship. If you respect me, I will respect you. Correct? So you scratch my back, I scratch your back. This kind of relationships in the material world. But unconditional surrender means, like we said here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is praying, I do not know anybody other than Krishna, and he will be my Lord always. Even if he is not going to, if he is not going to give me darshan, even if he is going to roughly, handle me, That's also okay. He is free to do anything and everything. This is called surrender. So this is the level of surrender. This is the kind of surrender. Okay, this is Radharani's surrender. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's surrender. See, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's surrender, Radharani's surrender. So this consciousness, right? This is the consciousness which is explained here, that completely giving up sense of proprietorship and acting only for the bare necessities of life is Krishna consciousness. Okay, a Krishna conscious person is fully engaged in self-realization, right? And here it says an important point. It's like a part of a machine. You see, a machine requires oiling and cleaning for maintenance. So a Krishna conscious man maintains himself just to keep himself fit. That's it. So a Krishna conscious person who is completely like a pure devotee, who is eating only because he just wants to maintain himself so that he can, do devotional service nicely, like that. So I'll tell you one quick story, okay? This is from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. There was one vegetable vendor by the name Kola Vecha Sridhar. Okay, this Kola Vecha Sridhar, what he used to sell was, he used to sell banana leaves, that's all. And he was a poor man, obviously, because he used to sell banana leaves. And what he used to do was, he used to sell banana leaves, and whatever money he used to get, out of which 50% of the money he used to engage it in Krishna consciousness, in the worship of Ganga and giving donations to the Brahmanas, like that. Whatever bare minimum that he required for his maintenance, he used to keep it for himself and he used to maintain himself. And in the night, he used to be singing, or he used to be, shouting in the separation from Krishna, loudly. And people all used to be scolding him. Oh, this Kolavacha Sridhar is very hungry. This fellow is very hungry. That's why he's shouting like a mad person out of hunger. But no, he's not shouting out of hunger. He's shouting out of ecstasy. Okay, thinking about Krishna. Krishna, when will you show me your mercy? Like that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to come and visit him. So Krishna is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he used to come to Kolavacha Sridhar and say, I see that you are selling some banana leaves. Can I buy some banana leaves? So he used to say, yeah, how much is it? So he will say 50 anna or something like that. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to tease him and say, you are a crook, you are a cheater. I see that you are cheating all of us. Actually, you're getting it for very less. You're making a lot of money. I know that you're a very rich person. You just act like a poor man. I know you. Give me it for free. And Kolavacha Sridhar will say, please, please, no, I'm not lying. Okay, this is that much only. Okay, please, I'm not getting any money out of it. But no, I will not pay you because you have cheated so many people. Give me for free. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to take that like that. Every day he used to come and tease. Every day he used to come and tease. You're actually cheating everybody. You're a cheat. I know you're a very rich man. You're cheating that you're a poor man. Actually, he's just doing some kind of a loving exchange with his devotee. Okay, what he's trying to say is, Kolavacha Sridhar may be poor, okay, but he's rich in Krishna consciousness. Okay, he's full of Krishna. So one day he reveals to him that, I am only Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so that is Kolavacha Sridhar. So this is like the example of pure devotional service, how, a devotee is in Krishna consciousness, acting in Krishna consciousness. See, let us see, we'll understand more when Krishna is describing how a pure devotee acts, okay? Yeah, let's go to the next one. Devi Nair Mataji, can you please read next one?
Sure, Prabhuji. Text 22. Yadrachalabhas santusto dvandvatito vimatsaraha sama siddhava asiddhau cha kritvapi na nibhatyate. Translation: he who is satisfied with gain which comes on its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions.
Hare Krishna. Thank you much. So, yadricha labha santushto. That means whatever is given by providence, this self-realized person will accept. So if he gets it, he will be happy that Krishna gave it. If he doesn't get it, he'll not be lamenting about it. So dvandva tito vimatsaraha. Dvandva means duality. So he'll be free from duality. He'll not be like, sometimes I'm very happy when I get profit, I'm feeling very sad when I get lost. It's not like that. But whatever comes, it's Krishna's mercy. Like that, if somebody is there who is steady in both success and failure, such a person is not entangled, although performing actions. He may be performing so many actions, but he is still not entangled. And then this is not meant for any monks only. It is meant for the Rajarshi. Why I am reminding you is this knowledge has been given to Sun God, and Sun God has acted in this consciousness, right? Who study in both success and failure, not entangled, always performing actions without duality. Like the Manu, the king Manu, the great king Manu was a Chakravarti. He was a great emperor. He was the emperor of the three worlds, Manu. So he had so many thousands of servants. So entire kingdom, entire world was his kingdom. But his consciousness is like this. It's not external devotees, it is internal. The consciousness that we are talking about. He is always very steady. Sometimes, the Manu, the king Manu, I'll tell you, every day morning, there'll be people to wake him up. Because the king will be waken up. This is the tradition is the king must be waken up by the Vandijana. That means those people who are like professional, I don't know what they exactly call it. So professional, they are like, they praise the king, right? So in the morning when he's about to wake up, they will play nice music. It's like we put alarm, right? We put some alarm and music. Nobody will wake up us. Somebody will wake up us and they'll shout, "It's time, get up!" So, but then the kings, they'll be like nice servants, will be like glorifying. They'll be saying, "Oh my dear king, you have done so many great activities. Let me tell you what you have done. You have defeated these kings. You are so great. You are so great. You are as good as Indra. You are as good as this. You are as good as..." Like that, he'll be saying. Then he'll say, "Stop all of this. Okay, don't tell about me. Say something about Krishna." And he will be hearing about Krishna. So waking up like an alarm, he'll wake up by hearing the activities of Krishna. Like that. You see, he is ruling the kingdom for crores of years. Crores of years Manu has ruled the kingdom. It comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. Crores of years he has ruled the kingdom, but he never became very false prestigious. You see, "I am the king. I shall crush. What do you think about me? Everything is mine. Do you know who I am?" Not in that consciousness, okay? He is always thinking everything belongs to Krishna. I am serving Krishna. That is called Krishna consciousness, okay? So a Krishna consciousness person is like that. Let's go to the next one. Who didn't get a chance? Jayanti Mataji. Verse 23. Okay, if Jayanti Mataji is not there, Kalyani Mataji, please, can you read this? Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
1 minute, Prabhuji. Text 23.
Yes.
Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavastita chetasah yajna charata karma samagram praviliyate. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Jayanti Mataji, if you're there, you can read the purport. If you're able to hear us, can you please unmute and read this? Yes, please.
Becoming fully Krishna conscious, one is freed from all dualities and thus is free from the contaminations of the material modes. He can become liberated because he knows his constitutional position in relationship with Krishna, and thus his mind cannot be drawn from Krishna consciousness. Consequently, whatever he does for Krishna, who is the perennial Vishnu. Therefore, all his works are technically sacrifices because sacrifice aims at satisfying the Supreme Person, Vishnu Krishna, and the resultant reactions to all such work certainly merge into transcendence, and one does not suffer material effects. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So let me read this verse. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavastita chetasaha yajnayacharatah karma samagram praviliyate. So this person who is in this transcendental knowledge who is in this full Krishna consciousness, whatever activity that he is doing karma, it is yajnayacharatah karma. It's not ordinary work. If you do in this consciousness, then work is worship. So we say work is worship. Work is worship in Krishna consciousness. If you are in this consciousness, if you are free from duality, steady in success and failure, you see, and perfectly controlling the senses in Krishna consciousness, then whatever work that we do is actually worship. It is yajna, it's a sacrifice. And see this. Actually, we are in the third chapter, we have seen Krishna said yajnartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. That means work must be performed as a sacrifice to Lord Vishnu. So all work that we do can become a sacrifice if you simply change your consciousness. Simply have to change the consciousness that we are acting, then every activity is actually a fire sacrifice for Lord Vishnu. The result of such reactions of all the work is to merge into transcendence. And by doing like that, you will not suffer any material effects. So this is the secret, dear devotees. This is the secret of working in Krishna consciousness. Okay, we have to act by knowing our constitutional position in relationship with Krishna. That's the only thing. We don't have to change anything. Krishna. So you see, the acharyas are saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Grihe tako, vane tako, sada hari bole dako. Saying you don't have to go to the forest. He's not recommending that. You don't have to go anywhere actually. You just have to stay where you are and then just act in Krishna consciousness. Worship Lord Krishna. And whatever you are getting, you give it for Krishna. You give it to mentally offer it to Krishna. Whatever you eat, offer it to Krishna. And then every activity that you do, everything becomes transcendental. Even family life becomes transcendental. It's not material. If you do for your family life, if you manage it like this, it becomes transcendental. It becomes akarma. There'll be no material effect for that. Okay? I hope you all understood this today's class. Hare Krishna. I think I'll stop here. Anybody has any questions? Anybody has any questions? Hare Krishna. Or anything to add?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Are you able to follow everybody? I hope it's clear, right? There's no confusion, isn't it, so far?
It's clear, well Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, perfect.
Very well explained,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna.